Drive ignition.
This is Actar's Reviews, from anime to figures and beyond. Hey, this is Actar and welcome to another episode of Actar's Figure Reviews. And in today's episode, we'll be taking a look at Figma Fate Testarossa, the movie first version from the magical girl Lyrical Nanoha, the movie first. And I don't suppose Fate Testarossa requires any introduction, but for those of you who haven't seen the series, Fate Testarossa was Nanoha's rival and the main antagonist of the first season of the magical girl Lyrical Nanoha anime. And I don't suppose this is a spoiler, but Fate went on to become Nanoha's best friend and closest ally in the second and third seasons. And since the movie first retells the original series in a movie format with completely new scenes, completely brand new animation in an alternate world, Fate is brought back as the rival of the series. Fate Testarossa is my number one favorite character from the series and one of my favorite characters of all time. Honestly speaking, I really adore Fate for a number of reasons. Because of her character, she's so cool, she's so calculated and menacing. Even her weapons, her outfits all exude a sense of awesomeness that you really just can't see in Nanoha. At the start of the whole new wave of Fate merchandise, we have a Figma Fate Testarossa, the movie first version. And as you can see, the box that's used this time is the square Figma box. Just like with Nanoha, there are a ton of accessories inside. However, unlike Nanoha's box, the buildings in the background are blue instead of green, and you also have a yellow color scheme. I mean, seriously, blue and yellow make for such a great color scheme. Just ask the YF21, my favorite Valkyrie from Macross Plus. Continuing on, we see the new redesigned mid-shoulder magic circle, Figma Fate Testarossa, the movie first, product number 56. Turning the box to the side, we see Fate striking a lovely pose, and at the back of the box, we see the collage of pictures featuring the figure in various poses and showing off all the accessories that comes with the figure. And the side of Figma, once again in nice big lettering. And other than that, there's pretty much nothing else I can say about the box, so let's open it up and take a look at the contents inside. And here's Figma Fate Testarossa in her plastic packaging with all the accessories laid out very neatly around her. Other than that, the cardboard backing that comes with the figure again features a cardboard punch-out that will allow you to give your D-stage some mid-shoulder flavor. And here's Figma Fate Testarossa, the movie first version. When I first heard of this figure, I was so ecstatic. We are finally going to get a poseable, movable figure of Fate in a younger form that we never really did get up till now. And now that I have the figure in my hands, I'm really happy with it. But I do have some problems with the figure. Yes, unfortunately, it is true. I do have some little problems with the figure, and number one complaint that I have with the figure is her facial expressions. Both of the exchangeable faces, I would say, have something a little bit off about them. First off, let's take a look at the one she has on now. I don't know what it is about this facial expression, but it seems very, very off and doesn't really scream Fate Testarossa. Just look at it. I mean, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because her hair isn't puffy enough. Maybe it's because her bangs are covering her eyebrows. Or even perhaps it's because she's in this very, very creepy smiling expression that I wouldn't really associate with Fate. Perhaps more of a stoic expression would do her justice. And as for her other facial expression, we see that it represents Fate in this kind of battle and raged expression with a little bit of ferocity showing through. I don't see it. Maybe it's just because of the way her mouth is painted, or maybe it's because her cheeks are a little bit too puffed up, but to me, it doesn't really convey the ferocity of battle. To me, she looks as if she's grimacing, or if I dare say, even constipated. There's just something very off-putting about these two exchangeable faces that I can't really place my hand on. And it's very irritating because other than the exchangeable faces, the figure itself is superb. It's splendid. Really, really beautiful details. Really intricate details. I mean, you see that even the little bow on her feet, on her shoes, are actually molded, sculpted in detail, aside from being just painted in. And it's so nice. It really represents Fate very, very accurately, and it's just as if she jumped out from the movie screen right here into my hands. Other than that, we see that she does have a new feature that is implemented into her cape, and talking about her cape, we see that it's attached to Fate, just like with Hayate's wings, via this little peg. It actually takes the place of the stand if you don't want to pose Fate on the stand. The cape is removable, and these 2 points are actually made of soft PVC, so the cape won't stay on that well if you decide to remove the little peg. The cape features 2 points of articulation, so I suppose you can get the cape in a more dynamic or calm pose depending on your mood or depending on the pose. And while I really do like this feature, I mean, lots of people have been complaining about the static PVC, solid PVC skirts and so on and so forth. For a cape, I personally would have preferred it if it were a solid piece of PVC. For a cape, I really would have wanted it to appear more smooth, more organic, more fluid, and the joints just make it look so much more crumpled and disjointed. And the joints, I have to say, I really like, because it's double colored, red on one side and black on the other, to blend in with the cape. That's a nice touch. And other than that, we see that the skirt is a separate piece, and I suppose you could remove the skirt if you popped off the legs. The legs are on ball joints, so that's pretty safe. And you could pose her, you could represent Fate in somewhat of a pseudo Sonic form, but she didn't really get her Sonic form until the second season, so yeah. As for design changes, Fate doesn't really undergo as many design changes as Nanoha did. The only differences I can see are that her belt is brown instead of red, and she doesn't have this extra skirt piece. Other than that, there's nothing really much else I can say about the figure itself, save the articulation, but we'll take a look at the articulation later on. Let's take a look at the accessories that come with the figure. First off, the basics, as always, we have the 3-jointed Figma stand and Figma base. We also have the Figma Ziploc plastic bag that's exceptionally handy to keep and store and organize all of your little accessories. And onto the Fate specific accessories, but before that, we have a little instruction sheet that's included detailing the use of various accessories. So let's start things off with none other than Bardish, or however you want to pronounce it, Fate's intelligent device. Bardish is my favorite weapon in the series. It's so menacing, and Bardish here actually undergoes a ton of design changes. One of the most noticeable is that its blade is now completely curved instead of angular like the original one, and I suppose it makes it look more menacing and more close to the axe appearance that its name would suggest. The little fins on the back are also made much sharper and more crooked. As an accessory itself, it's really nice. It's a great accessory, and it represents Bardish very well. So to change Bardish into its next form, we simply remove the head. It's attached via a friction peg, and we attach the other head, and now we have a Bardish in its scythe form. The scythe form of Bardish, my favorite form of Bardish. Seriously, is there any cooler weapon than a scythe? The Grim Reaper would agree with me, the scythe is the coolest weapon ever. It just serves to make Fate that much more awesome. And the final form of Bardish that is replicated in figure form is its ceiling form, or cannon form, or buster form, or whatever they're deciding to call it in the new movie. I haven't seen the movie, so I wouldn't know. Again, very nice representation. Moving on, we also have an exchangeable hair piece that has her hair blowing in the wind. And last but not least, aside from the exchangeable face that we have already seen just now, is a whole rack of exchangeable hands. Let's take a look at this Figma figure's articulation. So first off, her head is on a ball joint, full range of articulation there. Her ponytails are ball jointed and can be posed any way you want. As for her arms, can move forwards, backwards, in and out. There's actually a double joint that will give you a ton of natural posability. And as for her elbow, it can move forwards and backwards. Her wrists can move forwards and backwards and rotate 360 degrees. She does have a chest joint just below her second strap, and it can move up and down, and it can rotate side to side as well. She does have leg joints, forwards, backwards, in and out. You can rotate side to side. Her knees can move forwards and backwards. And as for feet, they can move forwards and backwards. They can swivel side to side, and they can rotate side to side this way as well. So in conclusion, Figma Fate Testarossa does deliver in terms of being an awesome figure. From great details, fantastic articulation, very interesting little features, and of course wonderful accessories. However, unfortunately, I can't be completely satisfied with the figure, unlike the previous Figma figures before her, because of her exchangeable faces. It's so irritating. They got it so near perfect, but missed the mark this time round. Well, I guess nobody's perfect. So, this is Actor saying, see you guys in the next episode.